Okay, so it is now 11 o'clock. There's currently nobody here on for my session, but I'm still going to go ahead and record this and do this. And I can't wait for extra time because I do have to leave for work after this. So here we go. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so my presentation is going to be on dealing with challenging people. Um, my name is Monique Moreno, and here we go. So I don't know about everybody else, but I've often encountered people that have frustrated me. They make me want to pull my hair out, jump around, and scream because they are so difficult. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has ever felt this way. And I've often wondered while I'm working with these people, why is this person being so difficult? These people are so irresponsible. Just my luck that I have to work with them, and I wish I never had to work with this person again. Of course, that's not how life goes. I've learned that these people are everywhere. No matter where you go, you can never hide from dealing with challenging people. So my first slide, I'm thankful for all those difficult people in my life, for they have shown me exactly who I do not want to be. Um, I'm currently just, I go to school and I do have a job full time. Um, but I've learned from previous leadership positions, all of the difficult people that I had to deal with, that I definitely don't want to be like that. And I want to be someone that is not considered challenging. So, three questions that I want to begin with are which encounter with an angry person sticks out in your mind? So, normally I would ask, if anybody here, everybody to think about the person. And then I want you guys to think about that person throughout this whole presentation. So if anybody would like to tell us a strength that they have when dealing with angry people, since there's nobody here, at least not that I can see anymore, I'm going to say my strength. I feel that my strength with dealing with angry people is that I'm actually just able to stay pretty calm and quiet. I don't say anything back. I wait until they're done talking. And even if they're saying things that can be rude, I still tend to be quiet. My weakness when dealing with angry people is the fact that even though I am quiet and I hopefully appear to be calm, I tend to not, I tend to get offensive, and I can't tend to inside my head, I'm having a conversation with myself, reminding myself this person may not be attacking me, and don't hold it against this person. Of course, it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. So signs to look for on people that can be challenging is someone who's obsessing. So they may be obsessing over whatever the issue may be. They're sulking, they're withdrawn, they're engaged in self-defeating behavior, or setting others up for failure. They behave secretly. They ignore others. They flash the angry smile, which I've seen that angry smile many times before, and I'm sure other people have as well. It's different from a fake smile. You can see the anger behind that smile. So now we're going to go over 9 useful tips in dealing with difficult people. So step number 1 would be to listen. No progress can take place until the other person feels acknowledged. So while you're listening, really focus on what the other person is saying, not what you are going to say next. You want to be sincere. You want to be curious. You want to be patient. You don't want to interrupt them, because if you interrupt them, they are going to feel like you're not listening to them. And you want to make sure that they know that you are listening to them. Step number 2, stay calm. When a situation is emotionally charged, it's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment. So remember to monitor your breathing. Take some slow, deep breaths. When you respond calmly to an angry episode, you set a good example for others. You can calm them down so the situation doesn't escalate. If you also respond angrily to someone else that's already angry, you can end up being seen as the aggressor. Don't lose your temper. because losing your temper isn't the best way to get them to collaborate with you and talk to you. You want to assume the calm persona. Next one, don't judge or and don't understand and understand the person's intentions. Sorry, these two I put together because I kind of feel they're the same thing. You don't know what the other person might be going through. Chances are, if a person is acting unreasonable, they're likely to feel the same sort of vulnerability or fear. You want to understand their intentions. You want to, there's always, like, again, there's always some underlying reason that is motivating them to act this way. Try to identify the person's trigger. What is making him or her act in this manner? What is stopping him or her from cooperating with you? And how can you help to meet his or her needs to resolve the situation? Again, this all has to do with the fact that you don't want them to see, you don't want to come off as you're judging them. So the next one, get some perspective from others. So your colleagues, your managers, other people in the same position as you may have already dealt with something that you are going through right now with this person. So you want to talk to them, let them know what's going on. And they might have a different way that they have dealt with the situation. They might see it a different way and they might see it in a different light. And so as long as you're listening and you ask questions, they might help you better the situation and hopefully solve it. Number 5, let the person know where you are coming from. So let the person know the intentions behind what is being done. Sometimes they're being resistant because they think that you are just being difficult with them. Letting them in on a reason behind your actions and the full background of what is happening will enable them to empathize with your situation. So again, explain to them what is going on. Don't just say, this is the way it's done. No, explain to them what's going on. I know sometimes people in certain leadership positions feel like they don't have to explain, but if you truly care about your employees and the people that you work with, it's good to explain what's going on. The next one, treat the person with respect. No one likes to be treated as if he or she is stupid, incapable, or incompetent. The golden rule, everybody knows the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So respect can go a long way in treating in a situation. Number 7, focus on what can be actioned upon. So acknowledge that the situation has already occurred. Let the person know, okay, it's already done. Let's move forward now. Rather than harp on the changes, on what you cannot change, focus on the actionable steps you can take to forward yourself in the situation. So how can we move forward from this? This is what, okay, we already know this happened, so how can we now, so that next time this doesn't happen again, or maybe if it's a promotion, this is what you can do to keep going and hopefully get the promotion next time. Number 8, ignore. Now, maybe at first you're like, ignore, and you don't want to ignore anybody. That kind of makes the issue bigger. But this ignore is only if you have already tried everything else in the previous steps and the person is still not being receptive. The best way is to just ignore them. You already done all that you can do. And if the person is still going to be aggressive, they're going to still be challenging, then in order to just stop it, you just have to ignore them. But also sometimes there's someone that you may be their direct supervisor. You may work in a group together somehow, and this may not actually work to ignore them. So that would bring us to the last step. Escalate to a higher authority. When all else fails, you have to escalate to your manager. This should not be used unless you completed all the steps already and you've already tried many times to fix the situation and they're still upset, then you need to escalate it. You also do not want to use this option all the time because you wouldn't want your manager to think that you can't handle situations yourself, because that obviously makes you not look very good. So those are my 9 steps. I do have a couple, not really steps, but just some tips so that you don't, in order to deal with difficult or challenging people. So build a rapport. I say build a rapport not just when you're dealing with someone, because obviously that doesn't even to me doesn't really make sense. But when you're in a leadership position, you want to build a rapport the whole time. I used to be in a leadership position, and I was always told, stay away from, the employees. don't talk to them, don't make small talk, don't have lunch with them, eat by yourself. And I noticed that when I was around them, they didn't really want to talk to me, and they kind of were afraid to talk to me. So when I went to a different location, I started building a rapport. I would eat lunch with them. I would talk to them when they were outside, talk to them on the sales floor, not just about things that I wanted done, but just in general, like, hey, how's your day? How's your child? How's this? Just to build a rapport with them, which is something that you should do. You should constantly be doing that. Build that rapport. Ask them, how their families are doing. Ask them how work is doing. Have lunch with them. Sit in the break rooms with them, because later on, when there is a situation, I'm not going to say they're not going to get upset about whatever the situation is, but it will help later on for them to know that they kind of already respect you and they know what kind of you on a different level. I did have this happen before. I was always with the person, talking to him, make little jokes here and there. So when it came down that I had to have a conversation with him, he actually didn't have anything to say besides he understood. Of course, he was upset with the fact that he got in trouble, but later on, and he did end up not talking to me for a while, but later on, after he got over it, he explained to me why he was upset. And he said, I didn't want to get mad at you because I do talk to you a lot. He goes, I understood and I know that I did wrong. And we had built that relationship ahead of time. So when I had the conversation with him, it wasn't an uncomfortable one. Another tip is don't say, I understand. That usually makes things worse. That usually makes things worse because, when someone tells you understand, when you're trying to explain something to them, they're right away going to say, you don't understand. You don't understand what I'm going through because it's not you, it's me. So instead say, tell me more so that I can understand better. That can go a long way. Another tip is don't smile. When someone's talking to you and you smile, they tend to feel like you're mocking them. Sometimes humor can lighten the mood, but sometimes it can also backfire. When I was younger in a different position, I got told that I did smile a lot, and I never even realized it. And it would anger people because they thought I was smiling at them, and they thought I was mocking them. So I've come to learn that when I'm trying to be serious or I'm having a serious conversation, I make sure I work harder not to smile now. And then another one is do not get angry. Raising your voice, pointing your finger, or speaking disrespectfully to the other person will add fuel to an already heated situation. You want to make sure you use a calm, low voice, monotone voice. Don't try to talk over the person. Wait until the person takes a breath and then speak. You want to make sure that they're done so that they don't think that you're trying to interrupt them. They don't think that you're getting angry at them because, like I said earlier, you end up becoming the aggressor as soon as you get mad. And my last tip right here is don't be defensive. I know this is a hard one because, like I said before, my weakness is to get defensive and to get offended by things that people can say. You're not going to enjoy that another person is saying things to you, and whether they're nasty things, rude things, especially if you know they're not true. You want to defend yourself, but the other person is so emotionally upset, they're heated up, it's not going to help the situation at all. Remember that this isn't about you. Whatever the issue that they're upset about, it's not about you. Don't take it personally. I know that's probably easier said than done, but it doesn't help at all if there's two people talking to each other that are both upset, especially when one person is upset over one issue, another person is upset just because of the way that someone's talking to them. So one last thing, I don't know if it's really a tip, but it's just a reminder. Remember that no matter where you go, there will always be someone challenging to deal with. So whether it's in a job and you don't want to deal with that challenging person, so you're going to try and transfer to a different department, or you're going to try and transfer to a different store, or you're just going to quit your job in general. There's challenging people everywhere, in the workplace, at the mall, at the gas station, at a restaurant, at your kid's school, if you have kids. They're everywhere. I've learned this. I've come to accept it already. It is hard to deal with, especially right now at Christmas time, holidays. There are challenging people everywhere you go. You would think people would be happy right now, but they're not. So just remember that. And I know some of these steps can help in dealing with everyday situations and not just in the workplace, but just try to remember everything. And, you know, remember that no matter where you go, they're going to be there. As long as you go in there with knowing that already, I think that kind of helps already, because then you're already thinking, oh, this person might be upset. Let me handle this in a different way. So that's my presentation. Thank you, everybody, or nobody, for coming to my presentation. I don't, normally I would ask, you know, if there's any questions, any comments, but since nobody's here, I thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.